Okay. All right, so we've mounted the servos. And the next thing we're going to do is, I'll pick up that piece from the motor mount, but make the motor mount. Well, the motor mount's already made. We couldn't send you rough material. So this is the motor mount already cut out, but we have to drill it. So, the motor for the kit is different than in the build article. So let's take a look at it. So here we have the motor. It's a beautiful little 1400 kV motor, and the bits are. It's a very nice motor. Already has half of the bullet connectors already soldered, which is outstanding. It has sort of a motor mount face or another motor mount, whatever, but this is going to connect to this, and you pull it out. And this, the way this works is that you'll see a bunch of, it's using, what's the right word? Flange screws so they're flush with that. God dang it. Anyway, and so you want to, there's a direction to this thing. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drill holes for this motor mount here. And the thing to remember is that you want to have the little bit that will accept the screw on the inside. So you just kind of hold it like that. And if you want, you can mark it, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go drill through these holes and get my motor mount holes lined up. So let's go do that. So over here is Mr. Drill, and the drill bit that we're going to use is, these are probably metric holes, and they're a little smaller than what I have. So I'm getting the closest fit that I can. It's slightly larger. You want this just to be big enough for the zip tie to get through that's going to attach the motor mount. You could use screws to attach it as well, but I like the zip ties because sometimes they break off, and I think it helps save the motor in bad crashes. All right, so we're over here. And we have a nice piece of plywood to drill into, and we're going to attach this, and we're just going to, I just hold it with my finger and just say, okay, so this is how I want this thing to be. So let's get it all nice and lined up, and everything's good and solid, and we go. And try to keep it lined up, so oops, that one kicked it over. So we got those two nice and lined up still. And then I'm going to get this one. Oops, that was wanting to wander big time. Okay, so I'm keeping them lined up in my eye. It doesn't have to be perfect because these zip ties are a little sloppy. But, you know, can't be too crazily off. And we do that one there. Yeah, you know what would be a good thing to do is probably take toothpicks or something and shove them in those holes, or somehow to keep them all kind of lined up. If I was doing this as kids, that's exactly how I would do it. All right, excellent. So we now have a drilled motor mount, and I didn't worry about getting that perfectly in the center or anything like that. And looks like the holes are pretty well lined up. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, and let's keep things clean. So we'll then get rid of those aluminum shavings, or any short circuits or any stuff like that. Okay, so this is the motor part of the motor mount. Now we got to attach it to the deck. And so we're going to change our drill bit size and go to something a little bigger, like this. And the reason we're going to go bigger is I want to use bigger zip ties to attach it. So this is a size zip tie that I'm going to work with, and this is the drill, and this is a little bit or almost exact. This is exactly the size of that zip tie, so that's the size drill I'm going to use. If I want the smaller zip ties, I'd want probably I would want a hole that was that size. So try to get your bit in there pretty long if you can, because you're going to have to clear the back of the motor mount. Okay, so we're ready to go. So I put one back here, as you can see. Okay, and then I'm going to put one not parallel to it. I'm going to put a little forward because I don't want there to be a huge stress riser that'll make the motor mount bend or break. And they have bent in the past. Okay, and then two up front. And those can be right next to each other. Oops, be careful. Yeah, the clamp would be good there, eh? But, you know, just learn to, it's not a real high-speed drill. So, use a clamp. Safety, third. Alright, so we have the motor mount drilled now. You can see sort of the asymmetry of what's going on there. Alright, and the next step is, let's take a look at the instructions. Make the motor mount. For our build, we use the Boaters 3. Drill holes in the motor mount for attaching the deck. Attach the prop saver to the motor and make sure the screws are tight without stripping the top. Okay. So now what we're going to do is take this prop saver, which was included with the motor. It's actually not a prop saver. This is just a prop adapter that attaches to the prop shaft here. The APC gray props are actually quite a bit stronger than the GWS's, which is what you saw in the build article, so we don't use prop savers with them. So pull this out. These are super nice props. Nylon filled, I think glass filled nylon, I'm not sure. And the thing to note is that there's a little adapter inside, and this adapter, you're going to need the small one, and this can be a bit of a pain in the butt, is getting this to go around the prop adapter. So what I like to do is take something to kind of ream it out a little bit, because it's got some flashing in there that makes it a little too small for the threads. And I just sort of ream it out just a little bit. We're not trying to do anything really huge here, but just trying to get it opened up a bit. Okay. And the way it's going to work, because this is a regular prop, if you have a reverse prop, you could put it on the regular way. But so we put the prop on first, then we put this adapter, or I don't know what I want to call it, it's a flange, onto the prop saver with the wedge going towards the prop, because it's going to wedge it in the center. It's important to be that way. And we're just going to push it on there. Oh, that's good. I wedged it on enough so that actually you can slip it on there. And then you take the screw-on bit, and you're just going to sort of screw that down until that kind of lines all up nice and beautiful. And we want the writing to be towards the front, or towards this side of the adapter. And then we just sit there and we attach it on there, and we'll just tighten that up a little bit with our hand, and then we can hit it with a wrench, or you can use this hole and put like a coat hanger through there or something and just get a little bit tight, and that'll be on there real good and solid. It's a really nice setup. Okay, so where are we at? All right, so I think next what we're going to do is we're going to be attaching this motor to the motor mount. So the way this works is, remember this guy that we were drilling for, we will attach. Now notice that these screws, the holes aren't quite lining up here, so rotate it 90 degrees and they will line up. Okay, there we go, perfect. They're not exactly the same length. I don't know why the manufacturers do this, but they do. It is a universal property of these sort of X connectors. Let's put these, everything we're not using right now, which is heat shrink, and the bullet connectors, or the females for the bullet connectors. Yikes! Into the no, that's not going to work. All right, we'll just put them over to the side. We'll be on them soon enough. Okay, and we get out our Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to attach this bad boy. You might want to use some Loctite or something, but you want to use Loctite that's releasable. Doing these screws. If you do the permanent stuff, you're not going to be able to swap out your motor. It may not matter, but I tend to be conservative about that stuff. And you definitely don't want any Loctite dripping down into those windings or getting into the bearings. So be very careful if you decide to use something like that. Come on, there we go. Okay, I'm going nice. Come on, let's go. This is harder because I can't get too close to it. I can't see what I'm doing. Ah! Off it goes. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we should be doing cutaways and, you know, Julia Child's side. Oh, I'll put them all in, but I just thought I'd do the build from start to finish so you can just see everything. Because a lot of things get, you know, glossed over, and things that are important to you aren't necessarily going to be important to me in terms of understanding what's going on. So I'm not summarizing anything here. And that goes there. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so we have now the adapters on there, and we're going to attach this to the holes we just drilled. So that looks good. I like to have these off to the side. It doesn't matter, but you know, they can't be down here. They can be on top if you want, but I tend to just put them off to the side. I don't even know if this is symmetric, this part. Maybe it is. It doesn't matter. Yeah, looks like it is. Okay, so we're going to do them off to the side. And the way we attach the motor is I put the, do it with zip ties. A lot of this airplane's held together with zip ties, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Well, I think it's a pretty good thing. They have a nice property that, you know, if the forces get really high in a crash, the zip ties tend to let go, which really helps. So make sure when you're flying you have extra zip ties with you, because they will break. You know, you will crash and rip zip ties off of the motor mount, and you'll be like, oh, good, I still have a motor now because that gave way. So I'm doing the blocky bits towards the back. I always like to kind of keep the blocky bits of the zip tie as far away as I can from anything that's moving, just because in case it rotates around and starts interfering by blocking. Okay. Oops. And they get a little caught sometimes. Just gotta help them through. Come on. Okay, and one more. Sorry if I'm blocking things or not getting anything right. I'm just trying to move fast. Okay, good enough. That's solid. It's a little loose, doesn't matter, you know. This is it's not hugely loose. This is very nice solid connection. And